Hello and welcome to Bodygraph.com video tutorials. In this video, we will learn how to connect GoHighLevel Extension calendar and how to set up your Human Design and Astrology reading sessions. So you no longer need external tools such as Calendly, TidyCal or similar. Now remember, this video is quite lengthy, so you can all the time pause me, rewind it, rewatch it as many times as you need and follow along. So without further ado, let's go and have a look what steps need to be taken so you can launch your very first reading session through GoHighLevel Extension. Before we progress with the complete setup, the good idea always is to prepare and to open all necessary tools and features for you to complete the setup. So I really like to open different tabs at my browser and connect to all the platforms that I will be using for the setup. In particular, in this video, I will be using free approach. Now, as you know, Gmail account is completely free, and free Gmail account also gives you access to Google Meets, and Google Meets allows you to hold meetings up to 1 hour. So this is the perfect approach if you want to follow along for business starters who just launching the business and very mindful with the investment. This setup that I will demonstrate today will not incur any extra costs. However, if you already have paid Zapier or Teams meeting or even paid Google Workspace, that means that you will need to log in into those. But just because I have a free testing Gmail account and I will be using Google Meets and Google Calendars to automate my reading offerings, in this video I logged into these platforms. However, if, as I said, you're using different platforms and GoHighLevel Extension supports Zoom, Teams, and also paid Google Workspace, then you can log into those. Now, as I said, this video will show you how to use completely free Gmail account and Google Calendars. However, bear in mind that it comes with a limit that you cannot hold the meetings for longer than 1 hour. But I think this is completely perfect. For example, you can offer for the beginning, especially the beginning of the business, the section or multiple options, for example, for your clients to choose. Let's say 45 minutes option for Human Design or Astrology fundamentals, let's say Sun sign and ascendant, or type profile and authority for Human Design. Then dive deep into gates, so you can split into different sections and still keep, let's say, a length of the meeting 45 minutes, and this way you basically would work around that 1 hour limit. And let's be honest, if you offer the readings, super long readings, extending beyond 1 hour, usually the final client who listens to the all information feels quite overwhelmed because it's a lot of information, especially if you're trying to deliver as much information within one session as possible. So that's not really best approach, and suggestion would be to split into different sessions for the client to choose whether they want to go into Human Design or Astrology fundamentals, or if they want to figure out specific aspects of the Human Design and Astrology. So these are quick suggestions. And now also, if you want to sell the sessions, you will need to connect to the payment platform. Now, I do have testing Stripe here, which I will use for this video tutorial, but if you have different payment methods, such as it could be PayPal, and also GoHighLevel Extension supports quite a lot of different payment integrations. Now, if you go to payments and integrations at your GoHighLevel extension through the Bodygraph, you will see that there are loads of different apps and integrations to handle your payments for the sessions. Now, also some popular platforms such as Square, Mercado Pago for payments, and others here. Now bear in mind, these are for reading sessions only and not for the report sales. So this will capture or collect your payments for one-to-one reading bookings, right? So, but the most popular that Bodygraph has integration with, and we use at the Bodygraph as well as Stripe and PayPal, you can connect it here at the backend. What I really love about GoHighLevel, that usually if you're logged into the platform from the same browser, then the connection becomes very easy. So you literally press connect button. I already did for my testing Stripe, and it takes you exactly through the journey and steps, and several setting preferences to choose from, and then that's it. It just connects automatically. But as I said, condition usually is that you need to be logged in at the same time on at the same browser on a different tab to the payment platform that will be handling your payments for the reading sessions. So I already completed that. That takes several steps. You would need to click connect, and that will take you through the journey. Now, when I connected the testing Stripe, so it asked me several of the questions or the preferences, whether I want to include the tax calculations and all of that. So I won't be showing the complete setup, for example, for Stripe or the PayPal or payment method, because that depends, of course, on your business preferences, and the journey is self-explanatory, so you just need to follow the steps. But as I said, it took me less than a minute to answer the questions, and it connected fully to my testing Stripe. Now, as I said, this video will be quite long. The reason is that before we even actually go and set up the calendar, there are quite few things separately, or quite few settings to connect and complete before you go into calendar and connecting all the dots. This is just the way how GoHighLevel is, and probably the biggest disadvantage mentioned by GoHighLevel users, that the settings are all over the place and different places, and sometimes do not make sense where they are, but that's why we have video tutorials for you to follow along and find all of those settings, and this recording exactly showing you full journey. So the first step that I did, now of course you can skip the video if you think that you want to, and selectively do the steps in the different order, but I would not recommend. If you will follow along exactly how I'm demonstrating, it will be much easier to complete the setup. And I started, of course, as I said, logging into all tabs, entered my GoHighLevel, gone to payments, integrations, and clicked connect on the Stripe. Now, since I already logged into Stripe, as I said, I answered several of questions about my billing, checkout, and tax preferences, and it took several seconds, and the Stripe was fully connected to GoHighLevel extension, and that is very first step completed. Now the second step will be to connect the calendar. Now this is one of the things that doesn't make sense where it is probably, but where to find it, it would be at the settings, my profile, and if you scroll down, you will see the calendar settings section. This is where you will need to connect to GoHighLevel extension your calendar. So as you would expect, it would be under calendars, but no, it is actually at my profile, this section, and you just need to click add new. And as I mentioned, GoHighLevel Extension is compatible with Google Calendars, Outlook Calendars and Teams, iCloud Calendars. Well, you can connect Calendly, but to be honest, we tried to get rid of the Calendly subscription, so I would not recommend. However, you can connect if you want to continue using Calendly as well, but I think this is just a duplication of the platforms. And also for the video conferencing or for the video meetings, you will need to connect either Google Meets, Zoom, or Teams. Now, if you're using Zoom, obviously you can proceed with connecting, your Zoom. Also, if you have calendar, so the calendar is basically where your slots will appear and reminders for you will pop up. And what I really love about Google Calendar, because it's on my mobile phone, so it gives me a clear notification, for example, when the meeting comes up, and you can use them in a different combos. It could be Google Calendar connected for your own convenience, but the meetings held at Zoom, or could be if you have especially domain professional email and you set up the Outlook calendar, Microsoft Outlook calendar, then it could be that calendar for your preference, but meetings also held at Zoom, so it could be various combinations. But let's just say I'm very frugal and I want to save some money, especially for the start of the business. So I will be using my free Gmail, Google Calendar, and free limited up to 1 hour Google Meets feature. Now bear in mind that once you will connect to Google Calendar, that will automatically connect to Google Meets. That's also what I love about the Google ecosystem, because it connects in the same time. So only thing that you need to do, again, click connect, and it will ask you to select the account that you want to connect with and proceed, of course, with the questionnaire. And first time when I did, obviously I already did and test journey, it asked me to enter my login details, login credentials. Now for you, if you will log in into browser that you're using, and I'm using Chrome, if you log in into browser already with your Gmail, highly likely you won't need to provide the credentials, but that journey slightly might vary depending on if you already logged in and which browser are you using. You might need to provide the login credentials, and also if you have on your account any two-step authentication enabled, so also that could add additional steps for the connection. But as you see, I already logged in. No any specific two-step authentications for these my testing accounts, so connection took again a few seconds, and now I can see that Google Meets also connected at the video conferencing settings. Okay, let's move to the next step. Now, as I said, at first it will look like we're just jumping through the settings, but bear with me and continue watching this video. At the end, it will make sense why we set up the way we set it up. So next step that I would suggest to do is go at the same menu, settings menu, to tags. Now, the reason I would suggest to create a tag, because this will allow you to differentiate the contact, incoming contact from the form, so you know that this is the client who came through the booking form, rather than, for example, Bodygraph chart calculator integration. So I would suggest to create a new tag and name it exactly as your session. For example, 45 minutes Human Design Fundamentals. So I would, once we will use this tag at the later steps, We will be able to see where these contacts came from, and that it came from, especially if I will be offering different sessions, for example, fundamentals, then 45 human design gates dive deep or something, that I will know exactly which form the contact came from. That will be beneficial for you if you want to build email sequences specifically for the people who booked one or the other session. For instance, let's just say someone came in with a tag 45 minutes human design fundamentals, meaning I can trigger the email sequence depending on this tag. That will convince them to maybe book the dive deep into gates, right? So we can build a progressive email sequences that leads the clients through the journey and invites them to either book another session or even enter any other services that or coaching programs that you have to offer. Okay, let's progress further. Now we will navigate on exactly the same menu to custom fields, and we will need to create several custom fields. Now, these custom fields, obviously GoHighLevel is not structured or by default specifically to serve human design and astrology or any spiritual businesses, and therefore custom fields, pre-made custom fields, are already generic. Now I do have some Bodygraph custom fields already because I tested chart integration, and that automatically creates for me custom fields. But specifically for settings, there will be several custom fields when we will be creating the form later that are not available to choose from, and therefore we need manually to create them for us to serve the purpose. And the very first very important one will be a time of birth. So this is unusual data to collect, and obviously GoHighLevel does not have that by default, therefore we're creating it manually. And for the group we selecting additional information, and let's click save. Now I would like you to think about the reading sessions and the way that you deliver reading sessions. You might want to collect additional information, such as, for example, multiple lines, so it's more space for client to answer the question. And again, we might say your main struggle, right? Or please provide more information about what you want to chat about, right? And we want again select additional information and save that. Now it just saved somewhere on the list, usually somewhere randomly. This is just how GoHighLevel is. And let's just have a look at the list. I might need to refresh it. Let's try that and see if my newly created, okay, time of birth is here. Oh no, May struggle is here. Now also what is going to be important, we will come back later to this place because we will be using this particular key codes, because if you're using them as they are into the email templates, that automatically includes the client's detail into the email. So we will come back to this place slightly later. You can go ahead and create additional forms with the details or questions that are important for you to prepare for your reading session, but I will go ahead right now with another settings, because for me time of birth and that additional field, just to ask about their main struggle, maybe it's more important. But as I said, you can create as many custom fields as you like, and later we will add them to the form that clients will need to fill in order to book the session. Okay, so this step is completed. Now let's go and create a form. Okay, so to create the forms, we will need to navigate to Sites, Forms, and Builder, and click Create Add Form. Now there are quite a few templates, or you can start from scratch. I do suggest to choose the template and edit it, so it's going to be easier to brand it rather than starting from complete zero. Now for this video tutorial, I will be choosing something very simple as a template, and I will edit to meet my needs. Now once installation is complete, then editor opens automatically and you can go ahead and edit the form title, and I do recommend naming it exactly the same as your reading session, so you know exactly that form serving that particular booking. And now you can go ahead and edit the fields, and of course you can edit the text and adjust it to your requirements. Now editor is pretty simple, so with a single click you are able to adjust the elements, uploads. With a single click you can edit the texts that are on the form, but what we will be mainly focusing here are on the custom fields here. Now some of the custom fields will not be, for example, collecting, let's say, mobile phone. This is something not required maybe for readings unless you need it. Some extra fields that that I don't need, so maybe I need name, email. Now once you click on it and click on the settings, there are some things that I definitely say required, so you can click on the required and that becomes the field that clients must fill. So email, and let's say name, and here email will be required ones. Also some of the very important ones will be for me to collect, such as date of birth, time of birth, and that additional note, the main struggle that we created custom field for. Now since we already created some fields at the custom fields property, so I just get rid of what I don't need and then navigate on the left hand side to add object fields, and under additional information, this is where I will add time of birth. That is important for me, and choose that it would be required. Then that main struggle also required, and then I need also add generic information, which is, I think, would be the date of birth. Here you go. This is what definitely we need for whether that would be astrology or human design readings, so that it means this is the let's say basic setup of the data that would be required for you to run the client's chart and prepare for the meeting. Now I slightly adjusted the text. Now also I did not like the image that is on top, so maybe I can just drag and drop the element and choose the file to upload. It could be anything, for example your logo, and that will make it more personalized. Now if you click on it, there is also the way how with the settings where you can adjust its size to make sure that it's actually not too big and it looks nice. And some legal information that is very important, so you might want to include some check boxes. And for example, because this form automatically will create a contact at your contact list, so you might want to ask them to confirm that they agree to be added to the contact list and receive occasional newsletter emails, and that they are informed that they cannot subscribe anytime. And also you would need to update your privacy policies and terms and conditions. So if you have any links from your website, you can paste your links in the settings here. Or if you do not have, you can create one at the GoHighLevel sites, just a landing page serving this purpose, for example, and write your privacy policies and terms and conditions and use those landing page URLs here at the settings. Now this is important for your business safety. Now also, especially if you even don't have general business terms and conditions, I strongly suggest to outline at least basics about the reading session itself. So how you handle the information, for example, whether the session will be recorded, how long you will keep the recording, what's going to happen after, whether you're sharing the details outside of the booking session itself with the third parties. That has to be definitely outlined in the privacy policies. And also terms and conditions are very important, such as how long in advance clients can book the meetings, how long in before, what's the cancellation window, whether you offer refunds or not, what happens if the client does not show up at the meeting. So all of those things need to think through and better explain the terms and conditions, and ask the client to add the tick box to agree to the terms and conditions, just to protect your business and make it clear for the client what happens in such cases. So if you have your own website, I would update your terms and conditions and privacy policies, including the points about specifically reading sessions and refund policies and all of that, and use that URL here. And if you don't have site just yet, then I recommend going into Bodygraph's YouTube channel and look into the GoHighLevel sites and funnels training that explains for you how to create landing page, for example, just to serve that purpose. It could be just two different landing pages for the privacy one for privacy policies and one for the terms and conditions. Now, since this is just a tutorial, of course, I will not be uploading any terms and conditions here just yet, and I will keep it as it is right now. Let's just say I'm happy with my form and how it looks like, so I can click save and make sure that the form is saved for me to use it in my booking automation. Now, as you follow along to this video, feel free to actually create multiple forms, especially if you will, as I said, if you will be splitting the sessions. That means that you might, well, first of all, the quick tip, I would suggest to design one and then simply clone it, so it will be easier to adjust it, because it will have all the elements, branding elements and everything that you already fields that you require. The only thing that you will change maybe some wording and the titles of the sessions. And also you might want to create then multiple tags and multiple custom, not really custom fields, because custom fields, unless that additional information is different what you will be collecting for each session. But as you follow along this video, you definitely can try to launch multiple sessions at once. Okay, we are one more step closer to actually launching the calendar. Just bear with me, quite a few steps to take before we go there. But right now, next step will be to build for yourself email templates. So to build and design email templates, we will go to Marketing, Emails, and then Templates section. Now here I already covered the email section and how to set it up and how to set up email delivery, but I will repeat it again. Email delivery service is not included in the Bodygraph subscription. That means that you will need to set up the email provider at the settings. And also I explain in a separate video tutorial how to pre-make for yourself branded template and then simply duplicate that template so it stays completely branded for any future email templates, and will speed up the process for you rather than starting from scratch every single time. So if you will go to YouTube channel of the Bodygraph, again you can find email and workflows that goes deep into email delivery specifically and how to set it up. Well, I was showing welcome email as soon as someone generates the chart. Now, what we will build today is the email templates related to the booking sessions. Now, of course, you can click plus sign and create, for example, from the templates or blank template, and there are more than 657 templates to choose from, and it's always easier to edit ready-made template rather than starting from blank white template and align elements yourself. So I really strongly suggest to prepare for yourself at least one branded template that will be like a master template for you, so you won't need to redo, you know, especially header, footer, hero, image or anything, logos, so you won't need to redo it, and simply you will clone the existing template. Now, since I already have my testing branded template, so I will duplicate or clone exactly same template. Now, what we will need to create for this particular session and for bookings. So of course we will need booking confirmation email, and well, I'm cloning it. You can start from absolute scratch. That opens the editor for me, but I will come back to it later. Now also we need clone and, for example, build an email for booking cancellation. Now you can go ahead and of course clone it more, and the workflows that I will show you slightly later, you can build, you know, reminders, follow-ups. Maybe you will be creating additional form and the template to collect feedback after the session. So all of that possible. It will require for you to add sites and forms, create, for example, feedback form, and then build the email to follow up after the reading session to collect that feedback. Now you will see later that calendar has automated kind of built-in email template, but it's very bare. It's not branded. Very, very simple email confirmation, which obviously I don't like. And if you are a very visual person, so of course better is to build such templates. So let's start with the confirmation email. Now, as I said, I already duplicated, so it's already branded. And when you're branding the emails, my suggestion would be to use the similar elements and color tones as your website. This is my testing website that I built through the Bodygraph, and I use exactly same branding at my emails. So that creates a sense of safety for the clients, and it's easier recognized, and obviously that builds the brand awareness. So I do suggest to keep same elements and especially same color tones, fonts and logos within email templates as well. Now, once I'm duplicating, as you can see, majority of the things are done, such as logo, hero. I might add some text, but I don't want to right now. Some footer. The only thing that I will need to change is the body. Now my welcome email was like, of course, very simple. It's just testing welcome email, but it is just to send them a link to their chart, that welcome email once they generate a chart. But right now we're talking about the booking confirmation. So we need to adjust this to talk about the booking and include the dates, the links, and information about the booking. So I'm starting editing the body to reflecting the booking session information. So I'm saying thank you for booking this particular session. And now, do you remember that I was showing for you the custom fields and those values? You can either copy and paste those values into the email template, or you can navigate to custom values menu here and include specific information. For example, first name. So I say hi, first name. Now, of course, at the confirmation, I will need to include some very important information there, such as the meeting date. Now, I also want to include their date of birth, place of birth. Ooh, we didn't add to form place of birth. See, I forgot something. Let me pause for a second. I will come back to the custom field and form to add place of birth and come back to the template. Just quickly to show you what I did. So I went to the custom fields section, added place of birth, and then additionally came back to the form that we earlier created and added place of birth. How could I miss this information? This is very important information that needs to be added to the form. Let's go back to the email template. Now we're back to the email template, and we need to build that confirmation information, such as the meeting time and the date of birth and place of birth. I would like to include in this email simply because they could proofread or double check it and notify me if by mistake they maybe entered the wrong location or the wrong birth time, for example. Okay, so very quickly, I just built the body. I said thank you for booking the meeting with me, and right now meeting details. So the things that I want to definitely add about the meeting is the date, appointment start time, 1 second, and also, oh no, not this one. I want just a date. Okay, so I would want it to be separately. Start date, then I would add as well start time. Then maybe we need to include cancellation link just in case if they want to cancel. Then also reschedule if you offer such option, so reschedule. And of course, we need to label those so that client know exactly what it means. Now you can also include information here, such as, for example, the rules of the cancellation. You can also include in information that where the meeting will be held, such as Google Meets or Zoom. Also, you want to request them to try to log in, let's say 10 minutes earlier, just to ensure that they are able to log in and check their microphone and the speakers to ensure that they are ready for the meeting. That's another thing that you might want as well, include to the terms and conditions, and even add terms and conditions here as well, to make sure what happens in the case when client, for example, cannot log in due to the technical issues, or if they can log in but they have issue with their own microphone and speakers. So those things are very important to outline and briefly even mentioned at the email template. Also where to contact if they want to double check the birth details. So this is something additionally that I would like to add as well into the email template. So custom values. So that would be under contact, and we scroll to the bottom, custom fields. So what we want to add is birthplace for them to double check, as well as we want the date of birth, and also we want to include the time of birth for them to double check and reach out, inform where to reach out if they notice that they entered incorrect details, so that you could make amendments before the meeting. Okay, so let's just say I am happy how it looks like. So the meeting day details for them included, and also the birth details for them to double check and confirm if they are correct before the meeting starts. So I save the template. Now that means that I would need to go through all the email templates here right now. So for example, especially the cancellation, right now email template, again, you want to include maybe information of what's the process, how to proceed with the refund if you offer one, or invite them to reschedule in the future, or reschedule without additional fee, depending on the reason of the cancellation. So you can go ahead and build the body of that email depending on the way that you handle cancellations. Okay, so now that we completed several of the settings all over the place, it's time to connect them all in one place, which will be the calendar settings. So we will navigate to calendar and create a new calendar specifically for that 45 minutes settings. Now I said if you want to build multiple options, you can do so as well. Okay, so at the calendar, I will click on the calendar settings, and this is where it will take me to the calendar where I can build or connect the dots and create specific calendar, let's say for this particular booking session. Now I do recommend creating different calendar for each booking session, separate calendar, so it's easier to monitor the bookings, although you will be able back at the calendar view, which is actually redirects back at the calendar view, you will be able to select which calendars you want to see. So if there are multiple sessions, you will be able to just toggle on and all of the sessions will appear on this particular view. Now don't forget that if you will connect as well your Outlook or Zoom or any external calendar, that means that it also will appear at your Google Calendar here as well, all of those sessions. So you will be able to see the sessions at several places. Let's go on and start creating that first calendar. There will be quite a few settings to set up and connect all of those forms and everything that we created so far. So click create a new, then personal booking, and then we can name the calendar. Now I do recommend to name it exactly as the tags and everything that we so far created. So as I said, it's going to be easier to link which is serving which, right? So again, I will name it 45 minutes fundamental reading. And there will be several settings to choose from. Now you can see the URL that automatically appears. So this is what clients will see as the URL of the booking. Now bear in mind that start or the front of the URL will depend on the domain that you will connect at the domain settings. So if you'll navigate to the settings, then to domains and URL redirects, and here you can connect your professional domain, so that means the start of your URL for the booking calendar also will hold your domain. Now also a couple of more important settings. So of course you want the length of the meeting to match your title, so it's 45 minutes for me specifically, and this is where you can also enable to collect the payments. Now this automatically will collect the payments through the payment method that is connected to your GoHighLevel extension that we did earlier. So you can set up the payment and select the currency, and also add the meeting description here. Now I like just to go ahead and confirm. Of course you can go into advanced settings right away, but I just like to save settings to make sure that it's all saved. Now there are more settings and things to link at, so I just click the pencil icon and go into those advanced settings that you can edit. Now there are some personalization details, such as, for example, uploading your logo, adding the meeting descriptions. Again, you can select, for example, your main calendar color. So those settings are very important. I will pause for a second just to upload my logo again. Okay, so logo uploaded. Now, of course, I will just enter anything right now in the description. But what most important here will be the meeting location. So since I connected at my profile earlier Google Meets, I will select Google Meets. Now if you will connect Zoom, that means you will select Zoom, and if you connect Teams, you will select Teams. That is very important because that will generate automated meeting link for you and for the client to log in into the meeting. Missing this setting will fail to do so and will send basically email without the login link. I want to save these settings. And you can progress with additional settings such as availability. So you can go ahead and set your availability, so meeting intervals, duration, any pre-buffer time for yourself to prepare. You can also control how many bookings per day, or for example, how many bookings per slot or per user. So several settings for you to choose from here. Now, forms. This is the place where we will be selecting our form that we created at 45 minutes reading. So it will be customized form rather than generic. Now also you can choose whether you want to allow to add the guests and invite additional people into the session or not. This is another thing that you might want to mention in your terms and conditions for the session. And also the confirmation page. Again, right now there is a default message. Let's just say when someone booked the meeting, whether you want to customize this meeting message, or whether you want to be them to be redirected to the specific landing page. Now, as I said, again, at the site, you can create, if you have a website, obviously you can create on your website that landing page, and if not, you can create landing page at the sites here for that, specifically for that thank you message for the booking, and then use that URL here to redirect after the booking succeeds. Now also you can add, especially if you're running some meta ads, so you want to then copy meta ID number into this field to track the ads performance and how many bookings will come through specifically for from the ads that you run. And also payment details here that you can enable and additional information. So for example, maybe you want to allow partial payments, and if you offer any discount codes, that is the setting that you want to enable. Once you're happy with your selection, click save, and then progress with additional settings. So right now it's going to be notifications, both for yourself and for the customer. So several of the notifications and settings to confirm. So for example, right now appointment booking confirmation. So this is where we want to edit it and say we want to enable the email, and it's going to be both for contact, right? And we want to probably disable in app, or we can keep in app, and but most importantly that email would be sent for the client. And same with the cancellation or reschedule, you click the pencil icon and make sure that email is enabled. And also what is important are the settings that we need to make sure that, for example, we choose which email template it uses. So let's say I will use cancellation email template, so it uses my template. Now also you can set up additional settings, for example, from which email it is coming from and so on, and test the email delivery. So these are very important settings. Now, of course, I will go and progress with the confirmation email to make sure that we will be able to fully test it. So I'll choose the email template that I completed as a confirmation email. Oh, there are some required fields that I didn't complete. Okay, so I added the title and saved the settings. So this, you can progress. For example, maybe you want to set a reminder for the client, for example, I don't know, maybe 1 hour before the meeting. So before the meeting, or 2 days before the meeting. Again, you can build a separate email template and just to set up the reminder for the clients to receive specific email. So make sure that they attend the meeting. And also, as I mentioned, you can set up the follow-up, and again, the follow-up could be the specific form, maybe to collect the feedback about the session, or maybe just to inform the client about what's going to happen next, and maybe include some information like a link to the recording and more details about the after the meeting that you want to share with the client. Now, a couple of more settings, such as if you allow rescheduling, so how in advance before the meeting actually starts, and if there is a cancellation, whether you want them to allow to cancel right before the meeting, or you want to lock the specific window, maybe a day before, where you already start the preparation. That all will depend on your terms and conditions and how you're handling cancellations, and especially refunds if you're collecting the payment for the session. So these settings are important to choose. Once you're happy with your selection, click Save, and we will go to customization. Oh, it actually kicked me out, so we're gonna go back into customization, and again, this is the place where you can even further select some branding details, such as, for example, primary color of your, I don't know, booking buttons and more, and upload some branding details specifically for this booking calendar. Now, before we're launching the calendar and start sharing it with the clients, obviously need to test it yourself. Now, add these settings. Of course, I enabled the payment method to be on the test mode, so I don't need to enter any real details, card details. However, I do suggest to set the price for as low as $1 and try to perform live purchase. Why? Because this will show you the real example. Well, first, I would recommend to do a test purchase with the test mode for the payment. And then once you make amendments, then make the live purchase to test the full journey and see if the funds also arrive to your selected payment method. So first, we can click this arrow and you will see the links to your calendar. This is the link that you can use to test your calendar at any browser. Now, as you can see, it's fully branded, so I can select, or obviously if you will adjust your availability, so it's going to be only slots available that you have to offer. And let's select any time slot, and I see that our form also appears successfully and required fields also here. So let's just try to enter any details and see how it goes. Now I will select just the random dates. Well, I hope that we will find some things to fix. The reason because it shows, you know, that it's possible to make mistakes, and also we can troubleshoot them together, so you will be able to do so as well on your own. Okay, what struggle? Let's just say I have struggled with love. Wouldn't be entirely not true. So since it's my payment method right now is on test mode, so I can enter test card details, and that will work for me. Just random details right now to see if the scheduling will go through. Now the scheduling goes through, and see if we will get that success message. Okay, so that is the success message that I showed you earlier that you can customize and some details. Now also I will go to the inbox and see if the confirmation email arrives as well. So now receipt arrives. So at the payment settings at the Bodygraph, you will be able to edit receipt if you want to, but also the email for the meeting arrives, and it is our branded email. Now let's have a look at the details. Bear in mind it's supposed to be hyperlinks, clickable hyperlinks. This is just the Yahoo's weird way setting to block it first if it's untrusted, especially when it comes from the email such as Gmail. It's not professional domain, so usually Yahoo blocks the URL so you would not accidentally click on any spam. Otherwise the email would have the clickable links absolutely with success. So let's have a look if it has details. Obviously the formatting, I need to work on that and make it much more visible where is what. Now I see the start date, time, cancellation link, rescheduling link is included. Now I immediately see that I missed one thing, significant thing to be honest. Also the date, okay, place of birth, London, shows time of birth. Okay, date of birth does not show up, and this is something that I need to look at the template. I might select it wrong shortcode, and I missed one significant shortcode here for the template, which is the link to join the meeting. So that's what it missed. Now I can go back into the GoHighLevel and make those adjustments to make sure that it actually works for the final client. So I will come back to marketing, emails and templates, and make sure that that confirmation email is fixed. Okay, so first I will join meeting here. What is missing is actually appointment location. Now we set the location of the settings previously. My one is set as a Google Meet that automatically generates a unique URL, and that will include in here. If you will connect Zoom or Teams, that also will this shortcode will automatically generate the link and add it to the email template, as long as the calendar is linked at the settings with that specific meeting platform as I showed earlier. Now as I see, okay, I see the mistake. I chose the Bodygraph's date of birth as a date of birth short code. So I need to have a look what date of birth, okay, what short code I could use. Okay, so it seems that I was using date of birth that comes from actually the chart and it doesn't work. Again, that's another thing to fix for us. Easy fix is just to go to the again custom fields, not the values, custom fields. I will create a date selection, date picker, for example, and it says date of birth, specifically serving just this purpose. And again, we will select additional information, so that will, okay, oh, with the same name. Okay, so that means it crashes with a different date of birth field. Oh, I see. Actually, there is one already by default at the GoHighLevel. So this is the one that need to be used both at form and at the email template. So let's go back and troubleshoot the forms first and see if our form actually is correctly built. So it says date of birth. Just to make sure, I will remove this one and make sure that I add actually the custom field that is pre-made by GoHighLevel, not the Bodygraphs. Contact date of birth, that's the one. Okay, and make it required. And now also can fix the email template. So come back to marketing, emails and templates, and make sure that I'm replacing the short code at the email confirmation from that Bodygraphs date of birth, which I added incorrectly here, to the one that is contact details, date of birth, and save. Okay, so that is saved successfully. Right now we can go ahead and refresh the calendar and try to do a booking again. I will pause for a second to speed up the video. Okay, so I just filled the form. Okay, I just put the random postcode, does not recognize. Don't know. And schedule. And let's see if that comes through again as a success. Okay, so now new invitation. By the way, I get an invitation as well from the Google Meets. So this is something that can go to the Google Calendar settings and turn off. Otherwise, client will get double invitations. This is very specific to Google Meets. Also, if you have any notifications enabled at your Teams and Zoom, that will happen as well, that they will receive such a bare email. So this is something that I would not recommend to keep. I would recommend to keep only the confirmation that comes branded and includes your email template. So now, as you can see, it automatically generated and included Google Meet's link to join the meeting, and date of birth is right now also added. So the journey for the client is right now complete, and obviously you need to work out on the design, but at least I know that it works. The journey is absolutely complete. Of course, this is way, if you already build it, and of course you will build it in a nice way, you can confirm that it is set up correctly. The only thing, as I said, right now would be to make it actually live payment and purchase it yourself, so you also could see if the payment came through to your payment method. So that's what I would suggest to do. And now last but not least would be the calendar view. So you will be able at the calendar view to select which bookings, for example, you want to see here. And as you can see, all slots come up for you to see and as well join the meeting. Now the details here to join the meeting. Now this one is also customizable if you want to do so. Again, you can navigate to the specific meeting details and click the edit button and add the customization, one second, which one it was that? It was at notifications option. So this is meeting invite notes. So you can delete information that you do not wish to use, and maybe you want to include additional information. For example, I don't know. Again, you can go into that list of the your custom fields that you created, right? And maybe pick up that your main struggle, for example, short code, and you want to include that into the notes at the calendar, so you will be able to prepare. Same with the date of birth and location, so that will be available with a single click from the calendar to read it and join the meeting. So this is journey complete. Now you do remember that I mentioned that you can create a tag, and we created a tag at the tag settings. So I will show you very briefly how you can use it. Now, once the client books the reading, that contact automatically added to the contact list, and you will see that the contact arrives to the contacts at your GoHighLevel. And as you can see right now, this contact that is added that booked the meeting, it has just the tag Bodygraph. This is just my workflows that automatically tags all incoming subscribers, so I would not, I probably need to delete that. But I do not know that this contact, for example, arrived specifically from that form, right? So what I can do is actually go into the automations, and at the automation I can build a workflow. That means that, for example, when someone books the meeting or the meeting is confirmed and our meeting at the settings is auto confirmed. So for example, customer booked the appointment, and filters would be in a specific calendar, and you can select that calendar that we just created, 45 minutes meeting, and that would be a trigger. And then I can set up right now to add the tag, and tag also I can select the one that we created earlier, 45 minutes fundamentals, and save the action, and of course save it. So right now, and also publish it. So that means that all incoming bookings specifically for this session will also include the tags. Now, I also recommend to rename it as well, the workflow, to add tag, for example, for 45-minute session, so you know exactly what this workflow is for. So what this one will do, this one will add the specific tag at the contact list, so you know exactly that this person came from that booking. And also that tag will allow you to filter the subscribers or build even automations based on the tag. So that means that your trigger for the workflow will be no longer the meeting booking, but for example, if someone has the specific tag. And again, filter would be someone booked the meeting. So where is that? So that would be tag added and that 45 minutes. So that would be the trigger. And again, the action would be to send maybe email. And of course, you can build the template and the templates that I showed earlier, and maybe send the email specifically apart from that invite to join. So maybe you want to build even entire journey for the clients, you can add the weights in between the emails for specific days. So as soon as the client books the meeting and gets the tag, they will enter a specific journey to nurture journey, maybe trying to convince them to enter your any I don't know, maybe mentorship or coaching programs or any other services that you have to offer. So this is journey complete. Now, as I said, do not forget to test it yourself, or even better, ask your loved ones, a few people around you, just to test the calendar, especially at the different devices, and see how it performs. So it would be on a mobile phone as well as the desktop, so that you could gather the feedback, and maybe they will recognize again some of the mistakes or anything that you could adjust before launching it actually live for your clients. I hope that you found this training helpful. Now, very first booking session will take longest to set up, because there are quite a few things that you need to connect, such as payment apps and calendars. But every other session that you will launch in the future will be much easier to set, simply because you will be able to clone everything, the calendars, the templates, the workflows. With minimal adjustments, you will be able to launch other sessions way quicker. Now, you can rewatch this tutorial as many times as you like and find necessary answers for the calendar setup. But if you have additional questions, you can always reach out via live chat or support@bodygraph.com, and we will be more than happy to help. Now, best of luck launching your very first calendar booking via GoHighLevel Extension, and best of luck in your business. I will see you in the next videos.